Alright, nerdy ghouls, we're here. We have arrived at Spooky Summer Camp for Spookworm Club. In this video, we're going to be going through my entire reading journey through the month of June for Spookworm Club. We're reading Spooky Summer Camp books. If you're new around here, I'm Mandy Spooks, and this is our spooky oasis where we celebrate the magic of Halloween and spooky pop culture every day. So if this is your total vibe and you're celebrating Summerween right now, you want to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down below because we celebrate year-round here and we're only just getting started for spooky season. Alright ghouls, this is my cabin. It looks like I have been placed at the Wren cabin for the summer. Okay, so we are actually at a park in Colorado, and this is just like some sightseeing area, but this was an actual cabin in 1920, and it was 10 underprivileged boys who constructed it. It was the first summer camp that became known as the Neighborhood House Camp. The Neighborhood House Camp later became known as Camp Leslie Deal and was in use until the 1960s. Later, all of the buildings at the camp except one were destroyed after the camp was no longer in use. The Wren cabin was moved to McGraw Memorial Park in 1992. Okay, so it was moved here. Still some really cool history that I wasn't expecting. I didn't even know they'd have this at this park, so it was all unplanned and I'm so happy it happened. I'm gonna see if we can look into the window. I'm kind of scared. Oh, you can see! I don't know if you can see through the camera.
Awesome.
What? Hey!
That's your little face.
Thank you! Thank you kindly. Okay, you need a kiss for this bull. Wait, am I recording? Hold on. We're still recording. We found an even cozier spot because there's a tree. You guys know how when Rory goes to college, she finds that tree that's like hers for studying? This is my reading tree. Like, it's so comfortable. Like, sitting on the floor is never comfortable, but it's like such a big tree. I'm in heaven right now. Like, I intend to have a fall picnic here this year. Okay, this is either a great or horrible idea. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear me over the water, but I thought this would be a great time to do a little check-in about the 2 books I've been reading. Once again, I have been horrible about photographing the journey or filming the journey, but 2 books. So I've been reading Kill River, which you guys probably saw throughout this vlog. I did get footage of that because I have been absolutely immersed in that book so much that I just like wanted the total vibes of like hearing water in the background, honestly. So that was why we chose this place to hike, because I knew there'd be water nearby. So Kill River is by Cameron Rubik, I believe, and it is about some kids that run away from camp and find they're like at a summer camp and they find a abandoned water park nearby where there is a slasher. So it's an 80s slasher, which is super cool. I did not anticipate liking it, to be honest, because I didn't know how I was going to feel about a slasher in a book format, if that makes sense, but it has been so fun. It has been so good. I've been hooked with the time and the pacing of the book. Like, it's been enough time to understand the development of the characters and their relationships, but it hasn't been so detailed to where I'm just like, okay, get on with it already. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that, and I will give you guys a thorough update once I complete it with my review. And then the other book I've been listening to is The Last Time I Lied. Sorry, I couldn't remember what it was called. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I have not even filmed that journey because I just have not gotten into the book. I have been listening to it as much as I can. I think I'm like halfway through, and that one I just feel like it's just dragging. I feel like nothing's really happening other than we know the main character has trauma from what happened and there's a secret, but like nothing's happening in my opinion. So it might be my first DNF for Spookworm Club, which is called Do Not Finish, or that's what DNF stands for. So yeah, that's pretty much all the updates I have for now. I do plan to still read Camp Sylvania, but I'm waiting for it to come from the library, and Kill River was actually going to be my July TBR for the Dark Waters theme, but my library got it from a different library, so I can't extend the loan, like the checkout. So that was why I decided to read it, but now we know for sure that it's a great read and I highly recommend it, so it's a great recommendation for July in my opinion. Sorry, I've been looking around a lot. I'm just in public and there's a lot of people around and I don't want to be the weirdo ruining this nature moment for everyone. Okay, ghouls, we have so much to catch up on, but first of all, if you couldn't already tell, I just did a Barnes & Noble run, a little Barnes run. Got myself a little cold brew. I just realized the barista thought my name was Maggie when I said Mandy, which is pretty funny. I've never had anyone like have a hard time with my name. I also got myself a Mediterranean quiche. So I figured while I sit here and have my breakfast, I could catch you ghouls up on everything that has been going on with my spookworm journey this month. But first we gotta taste this because it looked so good, this Mediterranean quiche. I was so tempted to have a coconut cheesecake, coconut cream something cheesecake, because I guess they have a partnership with the Cheesecake Factory at this Barnes location, but I was like, no, I rarely ever get the opportunity to have quiche, so I wanted to try it. Let's see. Hopefully it's not still too hot. Wow. That is delicious. I'm so happy I went with that. Maybe I'll ask Mr. Spooks to go to Cheesecake Factory for dinner tonight. Alright, so I came to Barnes & Noble because Camp Sylvania has not been available at my library yet. It's still processing from being on order, so at this point I don't think it's gonna arrive in time for this video. And then I figured, well, I'll go check it out at Barnes & Noble because I wanted to see, like, hold it in my hand, see how thick the book was, if I could realistically finish it this month before actually purchasing it, and they didn't have it in stock, so I'm super bummed to say that I don't think I'll be reading Camp Sylvania this month. I'll probably have to be adding it to my TBR at some other point when it fits into one of our themes, so yeah, I'm pretty bummed about that. However, I did finally finish Kill River last night, and I'm so over the moon about it. I had to tell Mr. Spooks like the entire story because I just couldn't stop talking about it. So I even wrote my notes about it because there's so much to talk about that I didn't want to miss anything about it. So first of all, this was my first time reading a slasher. I had never read a slasher before. I mentioned to you ghouls last month I had never read horror before, so this is a whole new journey for me. Also, shout out to my Sasquatch coffee shirt because it's so cozy and comfy. Okay, so it's the first slasher I've ever read, and my thoughts now are that I think I prefer reading slashers over watching them, because I don't know if it's just because Cameron did such an amazing job with character development and building the relationships of the characters and just helping you understand who they are and care about them, but you get so much more of that than you do in slasher movies. And I want to say that it really is because movies are different, because when you go see a slasher, the whole point is to entertain people and get people like excited and scared about like the killing and slashing, obviously. So I think that that's probably why it's different with movies, because they want you to get to the action part really quick. But the book did such an amazing job, like telling the story of the characters, like really setting the tone and the mood and like making you care about the characters, that I just completely fell in love with them. Like, I genuinely probably loved that portion of the book more than the actual slasher part, even though that part was also really good, you know? So that was something I really loved. I also don't know this for sure, but I feel like the main character, Cindy, might have ADHD, which I really enjoyed because the book focuses a lot on her obsession with music and how she needs it to calm herself and get through life. And it reminds me a lot about when Mr. Spooks talks about how he feels about why he always needs like background noise, whether it's like his comfort TV shows or music. And I really enjoyed hearing that perspective because it helped me understand Mr. Spooks a little bit better. And then let's see what else. Another reason I really loved the book versus seeing movies too was because you got to actually like understand what was going on for the final girl's perspective. Like, you always see it play out in movies, but you never like actually know what's going through like the character's mind. What are they thinking? What are they doing? So I really enjoyed that portion of it. It really just brought it to a whole other level that you never really understand when you're watching a movie. And I will also say there were two things that I was really surprised about. So the first thing that I was surprised about was that the book didn't seem gory at first. Like, the whole book I was just like, is this technically a slasher? Like, I don't know if it is, because it took quite a bit to get to the slasher part of it. But once it did, wow, it got pretty gory. Like, I was not expecting it to get that gory after like how clean the entire first part of the book was. So I was really surprised by how gory it got. So I will warn you that if you don't do well with like cringy things, this book would not be the book for you. But if you can handle it and you're willing to get through it for a really good story, I highly recommend the book. Like, I was just so like cringy and like feeling grossed out, and then it like brought this whole new fear of water for me. Like, I always used to be scared of sharks, even though it wasn't realistic in the areas that I would be swimming. But now I just am going to picture some of the scenes in this book so hard, which is, I guess, the goal of good writing, right? And then the other thing I wanted to mention was that I actually cried at the end, which was shocking for me. Even when I was retelling the story to Mr. Spooks, there was one particular part at the end of the book that really made me emotional, and I just felt so bad and sad at the same time. And if a book made me cry, mission accomplished. Like, I am totally a masochist when it comes to reading books. Like, I love to feel things. When I was younger, I only liked reading books that were like super depressing, that would make me cry. I don't know why. Like Fault in Our Stars, A Walk to Remember, all those kind of books, like that was my jam. And then the last thing I did want to note, which I don't know if it's normal with actual like horror or slasher books, but something I didn't really love about the book was that the writer tended to give a little too much foreshadowing. For example, he would say things like, Mandy didn't know that it would be the last time she'd ever do that, or Mandy didn't realize that it would be the last time she ever got to choose the color purple. You know, like kind of like tiny little hints like that. And I didn't really love that about it because I didn't think it was necessary. It would have left a lot more surprise, if that makes sense. Like, I kind of figured out who the first victim was going to be. I knew when it actually wasn't the final scene, and so I could have done without those parts. But since I've never read a slasher or horror book really like this, I wasn't sure if like that's pretty typical in books. So if you have a lot of experience, let me know. So yeah, as you can tell, I really enjoyed this book. Guys, I enjoyed this book so much that I actually read it because there's no audiobook available for it yet, which was like a huge accomplishment for me, to be honest, because I've mentioned before, like, I have a really hard time finding the time to actually like read through physical books, especially some that are a little bit longer like this one was, and it wasn't like my typical read, like romance, smut, spice. So I was really surprised that I was so entranced by the book that I think I read like the first 2/3 of the book within a weekend, and then I sat down and read the entire last 100 pages last night. Like, that's how much I loved it, which says a lot about this book. So if you're wondering what my final rating on it is, it is definitely 5 out of 5 freaking bats. Like, I freaking loved it. I definitely plan to finish the entire trilogy, and I 100, 1000, 2000% recommend this book for the Deep Waters theme as well, coming up in July. So if you're looking for a good like slasher horror, like really good summer vibes for July, check this book out. Like, for reals, it is so good. I enjoyed it so much. Okay, wow, that was amazing. also 10 out of 10 recommend that. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk to, there's 2 more things I want to talk to you girls about. I'm just gonna stop apologizing about not documenting my reading journey better, because I just think I'm getting into a flow and I'm realizing like I don't want to be taken away from the reading journey itself by feeling like I have to film it, if that makes sense. So I might do it sometimes, might not, but I'm gonna stop apologizing for it because I gotta do these things the way I enjoy, if that makes sense. So on that note, there are a couple of books that I had to DNF this month, and I really don't think it's a reflection of the books. I think it's more a reflection of where I'm at. So before I talk about them, I wanted to put into perspective that this month has been mentally and emotionally draining for me. If you haven't already heard, I ended up canceling Not Another Spooky podcast because I got a promotion at work, which I am over the moon about. I'm genuinely like the most happy I've ever been in my career. I never thought I'd actually reach this point, so I'm super happy about it. And at the same time, I'm also very sad. It's a very bittersweet moment because I did have to bring or close this chapter of Not Another Spooky podcast because it's just a lot of mental work that I don't have the capacity for. So to put into perspective, again, my job is requiring a lot more from me right now. It's just an adjustment phase until I get a little bit more support and get used to this new role. So this month has been a lot for me. Like, all great things. I'm super happy about it, but also, like, you know how it is when you're just like your mental capacity like is just at its limit. And so I think that really affected a lot of my reading journey this month, and the fact that I actually physically read Kill River really contributed to that, because I had to actually like use my brain and my mental bandwidth to dedicate to actually reading the book, which was just, I think that is an additional testament to how good the book is, because I was able to read it despite how tired and like mentally exhausted I was already, and also just like I said, emotionally at capacity as well, because it was not easy for me to decide to actually end Not Another Spooky podcast for now. I feel like I'm really dragging this out, so I apologize, but I just really wanted you guys to understand where I'm at. And so I was super excited to jump into the Final Girl support group from Grady Hendrix. You guys know I was like so obsessed with Southern Book Club that I was just so freaking excited to dive into another Grady Hendrix book, but I just wasn't feeling it. I gave it a few listens. I don't know up to what chapter I got, but I got up to like where the action had already really started, and I just wasn't getting into it. So I decided to DNF it and maybe pick it up at another time again, because I know so many of you love it. I also started The Last Time I Lied, which seemed like it had a lot of potential. Like, I was pretty into it at the beginning, but then after a while it was just like, so what is the point? Like, what is gonna happen? Like, quit going back to, like, I get that you're traumatized and stuff, but it just felt like nothing was happening other than the main character continuing to talk about like the trauma from what had happened, but not talking about what actually happened and why it was so bad. So like, I was just like, at this point, something super juicy better happen at the end to have made up for this entire journey. Like, I ended up skipping, or not skipping, but like reading spoilers on the internet because I just needed to know whether it was worth reading or not. And to be honest, what I saw online didn't really intrigue me either, so I decided to DNF it because life is way too short to read books you're not enjoying. So if you love the book, I apologize. Again, I don't like talking poorly about things, but that's just really where I was at. I don't think I would try to read The Last Time I Lied again, but I think I would potentially pick up Final Girl Support Club again at some point, if that makes sense. Or support group. I'm combining the two names. Anyway, so yeah, those are the 2 books I DNF'd. I have not had time to really finish up any other books this month, but I hope that also eases some of your stress, because I know some of you also feel like you can only read 1 book a month, or you can't even get through 1 book, and I'm like right there with you. It was really difficult for me to finish Kill River this month. Okay. That's a lot. I feel like I've been talking a lot, so we're going to start wrapping this part of the video up. So I went to Barnes & Noble, like I said. They did not have Camp Sylvania, but I did look around a little bit because I wanted to start seeing if I got any inspiration for next month's Deep Waters theme. I am also realizing something I did not mention about the other books that I DNF'd is I'm realizing that I think because of where I'm at with my mental capacity right now, your ghoul needs some romance in her life. I think Sally was the one who told me this, who was like, maybe you just need like romance in your life right now, not like, don't feel like you have to stick to something just because you said you would, if that makes sense. So I'm feeling like I need some romance and smut in my life, some easy read. Okay, sorry for the frame change, ghouls. It's our first warm day in Colorado, and even my camera can't function. It's 82 degrees and it overheated, so I had to move it away from the sun. This is new. This never happens in Colorado. It's 82 degrees and my camera can't function. Can you imagine if I was using it in Arizona again? Okay. Anyway, I think what I was saying was that I think I need some romance in my life. I have really enjoyed having these reading themes because they've forced me out of my comfort zone, and I have read books that I would not ever actually choose and pick up to read on my own, if that makes sense. Like, I would have never read Kill River, but I thought that the cover was cool and it fit the theme, and I freaking loved it, right? But I think this next month I really need to go into it feeling like I'm reading things that I know I'm like super interested in, that are just gonna make me feel magical and cozy, because this spooky summer camp vibe for me was like super fun and vibey. I really loved the like activity portion of this month. However, I don't feel like the books were the right, like the reading theme was the right fit for where I'm at with my mental bandwidth, like I mentioned. So I'm going into next month really focusing on what Mandy typically loves and like just goes to for escapism, really. And that's how I'm gonna approach my TBR for July, because I really need some of that magic back in my life. And I think that's why the other books I DNF'd didn't just hit as hard this month, because I just wasn't at that mental space where I like wanted to try something new. I just really needed comfort. Like, you know how when you are so like exhausted and tired and stressed that you just need to escape into what you know you love, like Halloween? That's where I'm at right now. So that's how I'm gonna approach July, and I hope it helps. So I was browsing Barnes & Noble and just trying to see if I got inspired to read anything else, but it was really funny because I came across a book that Sally had also recommended to me. I think the author is Kathleen Hoover or something Hoover. They had like an entire section with all her books, and Verity, I think that's how you pronounce it, was there as well. So I was like, this is a sign, like Sally recommended this book, so that's gonna be one of the books I read in July. I also thought it was really cool. This is not related to like our reading themes or anything, but I happened to come across a Barnes & Noble edition of Long Live the Pumpkin Queen. For those of you who don't know, the Barnes & Noble editions had like this cute little like booklet at the end with Sally's potions in it, and they were sold out when the book first came out. So I found a copy, 2 copies, one of them had a messed up cover, at this location, and I was just like so stoked to look at the back. So here's what it looks like in case you're interested. After seeing it, I didn't have much FOMO because I saw it and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna want to get it, and I already have a copy, but I felt good just putting it back. But I thought that I would share that. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna stop blabbing away now and run some errands, but I'm glad that I finally got a chance to sit down and catch up with you ghouls, because it's been a wild, crazy month. Like, I cannot believe how crazy this month has been. There was so much that happened in my personal life, like I said, with work, but then also I really genuinely have had so much fun with this theme. Like, the Sasquatch date we went on was freaking awesome. Like, that day just really, like, that day was the day that I really unplugged, didn't think about work or anything. I just had like probably one of the best days we've had in Colorado, and I'm so happy I got to share it with you ghouls. And then there is another surprise coming that I'm not sure if it's live yet or not, so I'm not gonna say anything, but it was another spooky summer camp event we went to, and it's just been like one of those months where like I've been living the theme in real life, but the books just didn't hit as hard. And I wouldn't be surprised if that tends to happen. So that's why I really love that Spookworm Club has evolved to like this theme for the whole month versus just reading, because sometimes I won't have the capacity, but I love to still participate with you ghouls. So yeah. Good morning. Okay, so I have so much to update you guys on and like wrap this entire month up with you, but first I'm gonna make a coffee. I'm super excited because I found a new creamer. It is, let me see if I can, I didn't want to show you guys my mess, more clothes in the background. So I found the Zero Creamer Caramel Macchiato from Starbucks. Holy wow. If you guys haven't caught on by now, I'm a caramel kind of ghoul. So I'm super excited to try it with my coffee this morning, and I also have a hopefully do-over on my S'mores Treat for today. Okay, so here is my s'mores do-over. I got the Chobani Flip. If you guys have never had these, they're amazing. I'll show you what you do with them right now. But I'm assuming that this is gonna be better than the Quest bar I had when we went to the Sasquatch Museum. And then I wanted to show you ghouls a tell me you're not fancy without telling me you're not fancy moment. I was like, how does this thing even work? Sorry, my camera's having a hard time focusing. Look at this lid. It is not like a normal creamer lid. It's a little fancy push to open lid. Okay, cute. So I'm gonna start by putting just a little bit. It like bothers me that it doesn't open more either. That's a really small opening. Let's see how this goes. I'm just gonna put a little because I have a feeling it might be really sweet. I wasn't prepared. I didn't have my spoon. Look at that. It's already really creamy and I didn't put a lot. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Gonna put a little more, just a little bit. If anyone gets that reference, leave a comment below. Okay, let's see. Oh my god, that is really good. I am obsessed. 10 out of 10 recommend this Zero Creamer Caramel Macchiato. Okay, ghouls, I have something super exciting to share with you. If you watched last week's video, Mr. Spooks has been working on a secret project. And it is this. It is I Need a Hoodie, his new YouTube channel, which is focused all on cozy seasonal ambiance. I'm not sure why YouTube is glitching and showing these videos repeated. He currently only has 2, but he has more on the way. He is super excited to keep creating more. I'll just show you guys really quick. This cozy rainy day one was from when we had our Hocus Pocus day for 150 days to Halloween that I had shared with you guys before. This tree was freaking magical and amazing, so this is one of them. And then this one is actually the one he was filming when you guys saw our footage last week. So yeah, these are freaking amazing. I'll talk about them more shortly, but I wanted to show you that he does have a new channel and you guys can go subscribe and stay tuned because I have a heads up on what's coming. Okay, isn't this a total vibe? I think it fits the vibe check. So I'm super excited about Mr. Spooks' new adventure with I Need a Hoodie. I think it's freaking awesome. Honestly, what I love the most about it is that, I don't think I've talked about this before, but the reason I love creating content, especially with him sometimes, is because it's like this time capsule, I feel, where in the future we'll be able to look back at the content we created and remember these amazing things that we experienced together. One of the things that I always remember is like when we were vlogging when we were about to move from Arizona to Colorado. Like I was just creating those videos to get them out and like have content consistently. But then after a few months after we had moved, I loved being able to go back and see that journey. And ever since then, I've just always felt like I love creating content for that reason, because I almost feel it's like a diary of my life to later look back at like all the fun, spooky stuff we did, you know? And so now I really love that Mr. Spooks is doing these scenes because they're some of the most peaceful moments that I've ever experienced in my life, and I love that now I kind of have a piece of them at home and I can just like turn them on and like have my zen moment, if that makes sense. So I really hope that it brings that same peacefulness to you ghouls. I know he's super excited about fall so that we can get some like really amazing fall scenery, and then winter. Like it has just been such a fun thing for us to like simultaneously create our own projects and go do our own thing, but together, if that makes sense. I know that so many of you have asked like where Mr. Spooks is and why he's not a part of the Ghoulmates anymore or any of that, and like genuinely there is no tea to spill, because someone actually wrote that on one of our posts, like spill the tea. Like there's no tea to spill. We just both feel like we did what we had set out to do at that point in time with the Ghoulmates, and we both want to kind of have like our own creative spaces where we can take the lead and stuff. And you never know, maybe we will get back to creating something together, but for now I really love this like peacefulness we found where we like go off and do things and we're both like creating our own content, but we're still together and enjoying ourselves. So I hope that you ghouls see the like outcome of that as well, and you feel that both of us are putting our best foot forward and our most, I guess, like most of our passion and magic out there. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble, but please give him a follow at I Need a Hoodie. I'll be sure to leave a link in the description below as well, and enjoy the videos. I know he's super excited to create more for you ghouls, super excited about the fall, and I know that he also really loved having a tribute to the Ghoulmates in some way with the branding. So I hope that you original Ghoulsters really enjoy and find peace in that, and know that he is still creating magic for you in some way. It's just more what he wants to do, if that makes sense. Alright, so I realized that I never even shared with you ghouls what Mr. Spooks and I got at the Sasquatch Museum shop. So obviously I already mentioned I'm wearing my Sasquatch shirt. Freaking love it. Full transparency, this is the next day since you last saw me, and like this is probably gonna be officially my favorite cozy shirt. It's the Sasquatch coffee shirt. It is like so cozy. I intentionally bought it a size bigger because like I wanted it to be my like spookworm lounging shirt, and it did not disappoint. It's so comfy. Mr. Spooks got this I Don't Believe in You, the Sasquatch Outpost hat. And it's the Sasquatch saying he doesn't believe in the person who doesn't believe in him. Mr. Spooks also got a shirt. I don't want to open his, so I'll show you b-roll of the one. I did show it in last week's video, but I'll throw the b-roll right here as well. So he got a shirt, and then let me see. We got a couple like stickers and stuff, I think. So I have been wanting, sorry, I gotta make sure this one's mine. Yeah, it is. So I've been wanting a Sasquatch for our truck in white, and this one says I Believe, so I really love this one. And yeah, sorry, I don't have much to say about it. I've been looking for a white one. I really love this one, so I'm excited to put it on the truck. And then Mr. Spooks got this one for his Yeti, I believe. And then I got this one for one of my Yetis at some point. I don't really know, but I really love that it has like the Sasquatch with the like Colorado outdoorsy stuff inside of it. And then I forgot to give this to Mr. Spooks, but I got him this to put at his desk at work. And it's like a little, I don't know if it's gonna focus. Oh no. Let me see. It's a little Sasquatch for his desk. So yeah, just some small things. I think we both just really wanted a cozy shirt. I also realized that I didn't talk much about the museum in last week's video because I guess I just wanted to be mindful of anyone who wants to go and the museum themselves, that we didn't share all of the information, but I did want to share one quick thing that I really wish I had talked about in the video, which was that I learned something very important, which is that this figure here, this like iconic silhouette of Sasquatch that is super popular, is actually from some footage, I guess, or like the most close-up footage they've ever gotten of Sasquatch or Bigfoot, and it's believed to have been a female. So that's kind of why I'm having this like fangirl moment over Sasquatch, Bigfoot, because it's a girl. Like how often is it that we actually get something like spooky or some kind of like iconic figure that is a female? So that's why I'm all about Sasquatch now. I hope that makes sense. Okay, honestly, I got so excited and started filming that I never ate my chobani, so I figured I'd break up the monotony of me talking at you guys for so long and take a little break to have some more coffee and eat my chobani. Don't judge me, I'm gonna use the spoon that I mix my coffee with for the yogurt. Oh, so good. Okay, so if you've never had a chobani flip, here it is. What you do is you take off the lid or the wrapper. Oh no, I just spilled some toppings. Bruce, go to your room. Room, go to your room. I don't want him to eat the chocolates. Room. I hope he didn't just grab some. Okay, room. So you do this and then you flip. So this is what it looks like, and these are toppings. You flip the toppings in, super easy, and then you mix it up. Oh my gosh, I am so excited about this. I was trying so hard not to show my disappointment about the Quest bar in last week's video, honestly, but the more I think about it, the more I was just like very, very, very disappointed with it. So if you still want to keep the spooky summer camp vibes going, I have a feeling this is the treat to have if you're looking for a more healthy option than making real s'mores. Let's see. Much better. Yeah, much better. You can taste like the graham cracker in it, pieces of chocolate. That Quest bar was just, I haven't had other Quest bars before, so I really don't know if they're all like that, but it just tasted like vanilla protein. It didn't have like any other hints of flavor in it, so 10 out of 10 recommend this Chobani flip. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled program. Okay, and moving on, I feel like this is a total vibe. I had intended to like change the scenery and look for you guys an outfit and all of that eventually at some point, but I figured since I'm feeling pretty calm with like the water in the background and it also fits next month's theme, I figured why not just stick with it. So I wanted to wrap up Spookworm Club for June by reading a couple reviews for you ghouls that you shared on Instagram, and then I want to share my TBR for next month's theme of dark waters. So I just want to give you guys a quick reminder that in order to get featured in the Spookworm Club vlogs the way I'm about to please tag me on Instagram stories or on Instagram in general so that I can go in and pull your reviews at the end of the month. That's the easiest way for me to keep track of everything. So there are not a lot of submissions this month, but I also think that the reason behind that is that Spooky Summer Camp wasn't as successful as we had hoped it would. I know some people on our Discord shared how they were having challenges, and to be fair, it's not the end of the month yet, but I do have to get ahead on content for you ghouls. So I don't know if I will be revisiting this theme in the future or not, just because for me it was a struggle, but maybe, like I've mentioned before, it was just bad timing with everything going on. So the first review came from Too Fond of Books, and I think all the reviews we have are from her, but she did get to read Lumberjanes, which I had recommended and was on my TBR, but I just never got a chance to go to it. The rating she gave it was 3.5 stars. She said Lumberjanes is a cute spooky summer camp graphic novel about an adventurous, quirky group of friends solving mysteries. It reminds me of Scooby-Doo and the Gang. That does sound fun. I wish I had time to read it. She also posted a review of The Counselors. She said, The Counselors is a YA mystery set at summer camp. It's about friendship, first love, and murder. I enjoyed it, but the main character, Goldie, was frustrating to me because she made terrible decisions for herself. I think Goldie's friendships and her first love were toxic. I enjoyed the summer camp vibes. The murder mystery was okay, but the toxic relationships took away from some of my enjoyment of the book. And I will say that I think a few people in Spookworm Club did attempt to read The Counselors and had similar feelings, not the best feelings about it. So that was why I decided just not to give it a go, to be honest. She also read Welcome to Camp Nightmare from the Goosebumps series and gave it 3 stars. She said, Welcome to Camp Nightmare is a middle grade mystery set at summer camp. I like the spooky camp vibes, but the twist at the end sucked. Also, I wanted more time with the girls. Fair enough. And let me see. I think that's all the actual reviews we got. A few people did tag me in what they were currently reading on their TBRs, but like I said, if you have any questions about how to officially submit your reviews for Spookworm Club, please leave a comment down below or reach out to me directly on Instagram DMs, because I want you ghouls to feel like you have all the tools you need to successfully participate in Spookworm Club. Okay, so moving on, next month's theme is Dark Waters, which I'm honestly super excited about because there are some books that I have been dying to read for a few months now that I've been waiting for this month. If you want a sneak peek at what our themes are for the rest of the year, I have a post pinned on my Instagram with the Spookworm Club logo. If you swipe through it, it has all of the information you need about how to participate in Spookworm Club, as well as the calendar for the rest of the entire year. So I think that's really exciting so that everyone can start planning. So I didn't want this video to drag on for too long, and I also feel like I've been blabbing a lot these last few sessions I've had with you on camera. So I just wanted to give you a quick list of my TBR versus sharing like the summaries and details of the video of the books. If you guys don't like that, or you do like that, please leave me feedback down below. If you prefer that I still do separate videos with all of the information, let me know. I'm still trying to figure out what works best in that arena, so I'm just gonna get right into it. So my first read, or not my first read, but first on the list is Verity by Colleen Hoover, which I had already mentioned. I'm super excited to jump into that book. I also have The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth on my list. I have Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney on my list. I'm super excited to try out The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. She is the author of Long Live the Pumpkin Queen, and that book is literally what started my entire Spookworm Club reading journey and this entire theme that I have going on. So I'm excited to see what her other book is like, if that makes sense. The Guest List by Lucy Foley, and the one I'm really excited but also scared to try is The Girl in White by Lindsay Curry. This book is a middle grade book, but it is about haunting, I believe. However, yes, it works for Hauntathon, but I'm also choosing it for Dark Waters because it is in a coastal town. So I think a few of these might not actually take place in the water or near the water, but they're in coastal towns, so I'm counting it. Like I said, this month I'm really going to be going all in on the type of book that I normally read and know that I enjoy, just because you're gonna need some escapism lately, you know? So let me know in the comments down below how your spooky summer camp month went, and also what you're planning to do for our Dark Waters theme, as well as any additional recommendations that you might have. Especially for me, you guys know that I really need romance, some smut and spice and magic. So if you have any recommendations for that for our Dark Waters theme, I would greatly appreciate it. Until next time, sending you ghouls and kisses. Bye!